Hello everyone and welcome to today's session on part 3 of the Bank Feeds series, where we will look at importing transactions into your Bank Feeds module. My name is Abby and I'm going to be your host for this afternoon. We also have Michael on hand today to answer any questions that you may have on this process. As this is a new session, it is booked out for around 45 minutes for if we have any questions outstanding at the end. If we don't, we probably may need only 30 minutes, but like I say, we're just going to see how many questions we have outstanding. Before we start the session, just want to cover some housekeeping. So you're going to be placed on mute when you join. If you do want to ask any questions, then you can use the questions panel down the right-hand side of the screen there. It's just the little speech bubble with the question mark in the middle. We do also have a handout for today. You can download this by clicking on the button that looks like a little document with a folded corner. We would recommend downloading this before the session is ended, and it does have some helpful links to our help centre. So for those of you who have joined part 1 and part 2 today, you will have already seen this slide, but I do just want to cover it again for those of you who may have not have attended part 1 or part 2. So part of a bank feed series, so we do part 1, which is automatic feeds, where it connects directly to your bank, and we talk about how to set up and process in that, and that's how we can save you time and reduce your errors, helping you reconcile your accounts more easily. Part 2, this kind of fits into both automatic feeds and manual feeds, and it's all about creating and managing rules and approvals. Then again, today we've got part 3, which we're going to cover today, which is manual feeds, and this version is only available in version 30.1 and above. So if you are looking to upgrade to that version, then you will get access to this feature. Want to get registered for these sessions, as we are doing more dates in August and in September. You can get registered here on your handout. If you can click that bright green button at the bottom. Okay, so this is what we're going to be covering on today's session. So we're going to do a brief introduction of the new feature. We're then going to go into demonstration. So I'm going to show you how to import your transactions, and then how you exactly the same as you do if you use an automatic feeds, and how you process those transactions in the bank feeds module. Then towards the end, I'll cover upcoming webinars and how you can get registered for those as well. Just before we begin, I just want to launch a poll on your screen, and I just want to know, have you attended the previous bank feed sessions on the bank feed series? So have you attended part 1 only, part 2 only, you've attended both, or you've attended none? So we're just trying to gain an insight of who has attended what sessions. So we'll give people time to pop a vote in those. What we'll do is we usually wait until we get around 70-75%. And then what I'll do is I'll share those results with you as well. And I'll show you as well, if you have missed part 1 or part 2, I'll show you where you can find the recordings if you can't attend a live session. Okay, so we've got around 80% there. So I'm just going to close the poll down. Don't worry if you haven't voted. And I'll just share the results with you as well. So 7% of you have attended part 1 only. 7% of you have only attended part 2. 60% of you attended both, and 25% of you have attended none. So that's absolutely fine. That's just again give us a little bit more insight of where people are at with the bank feeds process. As a question just come through from Maha. Is it okay if I attend this and not attend the earlier sessions? That's absolutely fine. Like you say, the part 1 automatic feeds, if your bank's not compatible, then it's not going to be relevant to you. Then you can attend just this one. We are going to touch upon rules also in this one, but that does apply to automatic feeds and manual feeds. Okay, so I'm just going to hide that poll down. Let's get straight in with the introduction. So you can manually import bank transactions from any bank straight into the bank feeds module. So We call it import statements. Some banks call it statements, but it's actually a list of your downloaded transactions from your bank account. So it doesn't have the statement balance or anything like that. It's just a list of your transactions that you can download from your bank. But we do refer to it as import statement. So you might be wondering, why would I use this option? So just to go back a little bit actually. So it was introduced into the 30.1 update. So you can only use this option for importing your statements into bank feeds if you are on version 30.1. You can import, like I say, you can import from any bank into the bank feeds module. So why might you use this option? So it might be that an automatic feed may not be supported, but it allows you to still use the bank feeds module and all its functionality for if you have other compatible banks using an automatic feed. You can import transactions with an earlier date than what can be downloaded through bank feeds. So for example, if you have all transactions that are not reconciled, you can import them from your bank, so you can get a list of older transactions. You can import them from your bank and match them with our auto match feature, which I will be demonstrating for you shortly. The benefits, so it has the same functionality as the automatic feeds. So auto match, manual match, create and apply rules to import transactions. You can ignore transactions. And if you're not going to use rules, then you can process recurring items as well. And you can also import from any date range. So let's pop into the software and let's see what this process looks like. Now, don't worry if you aren't able to take all this information in today on the demonstration that I am going to show. You are going to receive a link to the recording in your follow-up email. So if you can't absorb everything that we've taught you today, you can re-watch that recording and revisit and watch it in your own time at your own pace. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop into bank feeds. Now I'm going to show you first how to set up just an import only bank feed, and then we'll come back to how to apply it to your automatic feeds. So the first thing we're going to do is on my 1210 bank is we're going to click Get Started. And I'm going to be presented with two options. You've got your manual, which is your import statement, and you've got your automatic, which is you connect directly to your bank. We're going to click on import statement, so we're going to do the manual process today. So we'll click on import statement. And it's going to bring up this window here. So it just gives you a little bit more information. So seamless integration, bank rules set up. It's got a guided process, and you can also connect later if your bank becomes compatible with a live feed. You can skip this page if you wish, just by ticking this little box in the bottom left if you want to skip this page next time. This will only happen when you import your transactions. So we'll click continue. And you're going to be presented with this window here. So underneath where you select your file, it gives you the file formats that are compatible. So it gives you a list of all these file formats, but also gives you these files can also be identified by the following extensions. So you can see it's got a list of the different file extensions that you can look out for when you download them from your bank. Now, I'm not going to show you how you download that from your bank because obviously it differs per provider. To format your file, so if you're using a CSV, an Excel or an XLS file, then it needs to contain specific headers. You can open the file format guide for help. So if we click on open file format guide, So depending on the file that you've downloaded from your bank, does it have 3 columns? Does it have 4 columns? When you click on Learn More, it provides you with more information that you can read through as well. Now, before we upload the file, I just want to show you what the file looks like. So bear with me a moment. I'm just going to open that up for you. So I'm just going to show you what my file looks like that I'm going to import. So you can see I've got a date, a bank reference, and the amount. Now I'm using a CSV file with 3 columns, so this is what you can expect to see. So all it's got is the date of the transaction, the reference that was on the actual bank transaction on your bank, and whether it's a negative, so obviously it's money going out, or money coming in. So it's pretty simple. So we'll just close that down. And we'll now choose to upload that to the bank. So we'll select the file from your device. And we'll select the file straight away there. So I'm going to click to review transactions. You can see it's got the import details. So it's telling me how many transactions I have, the date range of the 1st of June to the 26th of June. When I scroll down, you can see I have all the transactions that you've seen on my Excel document there. So it's got the date, the description. It tells me whether it's money in or money going out. The money out is then highlighted in red. You can also choose to see how many items you see per page. So let's just say we change to 50. And that should show me all of them on the list. If you don't see them all, it might be just on the next page. So you can see page 1 of 1. So you can go through, check all your transactions, check that you're happy with those transactions, the information. If they are the wrong way around, instead of going back and formatting the file, you can simply switch transaction types. And this will make the money in the transactions a negative amount, money out transactions will become a positive amount. It will then reprocess the file, then you can re-review the transactions. I'm not going to do that at the moment, but that option is there. So we'll check the transactions when we click Confirm Import. It's telling me the import is complete. We'll close the window. It'll do a refresh. So we'll click OK. It's telling me the download's been successful. So you can see already when I've imported those transactions, the transactions I'd already processed into Sage has been, some of the transactions have been automatically detected as auto match transactions. So just like the part 1, when you use automatic feeds, you can choose, so it's same date, give or take 4 days with the same value, and they become detected as auto match transactions. So you can just click to confirm or unmatch if they're not correct. If we pop into the To Be Matched tab, you can manually match transactions. So it might be that you want to, let's have a look. Might be that you want to just manually match these transactions, so you can drag and drop together, and that goes straight to the Confirm tab. So you've also got that option. You've also got the option to create a transaction. So for example, this might be for a bank receipt. So it might be money coming in. So then you can simply pop in the information that you need. If you need to, say, add an extra reference, I'll just leave the reference as it is at the moment. And then we'll save that. Help if I put a nominal code in. Let's just put in, tell you what we'll do is we'll cancel out of this one. We'll change it to a customer receipt. We'll just pick a customer, or we'll just put a payment on account. So we'll put yes. You can see now it's automatically gone to the confirm tab. You can also ignore transactions. So it might be a duplicate or one you might have processed outside of bank feeds. You can simply select the relevant transaction, and along the top you've got ignore. If we come out of the bank feeds, we'll just click yes. Now this is going to unmatch the ones that I have matched, so that's absolutely fine for now. What you'll see when you're in the homepage is that it'll tell you that it's import only, and it'll tell you the last date that you import. If we pop back in to the bank feed, and if you wish to create a rule from a transaction, so we'll just confirm that one again, and then we pop into confirmed, you have the option, just like the automatic feeds, you can create a rule from here as well. So if you have attended part one and you get the same functionality as the manual feeds as you do the automatic feeds. So you can create rules as well, so you get all the existing functionality, and the process exactly the same. It's no different from if you use automatic feeds. If you wish to connect an automatic feed, say that at the moment your bank isn't compatible, but in the future it does become compatible, you can then switch it to an automatic feed. So in the top right, you have connect to an automatic feed. If you ignore a transaction, you can go into here, a view ignored. You can also set a filter, so click apply. You can then see that transaction that I ignored prior, just a moment ago. You can then restore that back in. You've also got the option as well to process recurring items if you don't use bank feed rules. If you wish to use this feature, so the importing transactions, if we pop to the automatic feed, it's exactly the same process. There's just an option along the top within your bank feed. So next to download, you've got import, and you follow exactly the same steps that I've just shown you. The process is the same. A question's just come through there from Holly. Do you keep the rules that you have set up if you move to an automatic feed? You do. Nothing actually changes in terms of it doesn't wipe anything, it doesn't remove anything. It just simply connects it to an automatic feed. So the rules do retain if you have them set up as well. So that is the bank feeds import feature, giving you more flexibility to use bank feeds when an automatic feed may not be available, but enabling you to still be more proficient with your bank reconciliation. Just got a question come through there, so just bear with me a moment. Okay, one thing I will show you. So we've got a question about importing more than one bank export for the same account and period. So what I'll do is I'll show you what happens when you try to import. As long as the file's different, it will warn you that the transactions are potentially a duplicate, but you can bypass that. So if I click import and I go to import the same transactions again, it will notify me. Let me just try this. So we'll review transactions again. You can tell it tells me 26 out of 26 transactions might already be in Sage. So it does warn you But it might be if you have a lot of transactions that are the same, for example, if you're using like a subscription basis or something like that, and your transactions might look same value and similar reference or same reference, it does notify you that they are possible duplicates, but you can confirm the import if you are happy with that information. And it will just import those transactions. So it does warn you, but you can bypass it if you have a lot of transactions which may be the same. So hopefully that answers your question there, Chris. And it also answers the second question from Maha as well about duplicated transactions. Okay, so do keep your questions coming if you do have any. What I'll do is just in the meantime, I'll go through the upcoming webinars that we have. So let's just pop back to my slides. So I have reiterated again that we are doing part 1, 2, and 3. If you have missed and you do want to join a live session rather than a recording, we are doing them again on the 21st of August. Part 1 is at 10 AM, part 2 is at 11 AM, and part 3 will be at 2 PM. We are also doing sessions on tips and tricks on how to customize your software, user management, what's new in version 30.1, and also we're also starting up the Clear Audit Trail sessions again as well. If you have the handout downloaded, you can click on the webinar registration button in the bottom left. What I do want to show you, just while I wait for any further questions to come through, is I'll show you where you can get support on this process as well. So if we just pop to the Help Center, if we just type in import statement into bank feeds, you can see there is a guide straight at the top there. Get started with bank import for bank feeds. So there is a guide there as well that will support you with this process. We'll just wait for that to load. So it does give you a specific guide, so importing transactions without a bank feed set up or with a bank feed set up. So whether that's automatic or manual. So you do have all the information on here as well if you do prefer a step-by-step guide that you wish to follow that you can print out as well. Okay, so pop back to my slides. So that does bring us to the end of today's session in terms of demonstration. Please feel free to stay around for the next couple of minutes. Like I say, we did book this session out longer for the questions that may come at the end. So if you are waiting for an answer to a question or you have any further questions to ask, please do bear with us while we pick these up. If you've got what you need today and you want to leave the session, you will receive an email in around an hour or so with links to both our webinar schedule and today's recorded session for you to refer back to if needs be. Upon exiting the session, you will see a survey at the end. Because this is our first time doing this session, if you could please let us know any feedback regarding the session, just pop a comment on what you'd like to, what you liked, what could have been done better, as we do always like to improve these sessions. So any comments would be really appreciated. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put myself on a brief mute just while I have a look at any outstanding questions. Really good question there from Gemma. So can you match multiple Sage postings to a single bank transaction? So if a bank receipt is split into 2 postings, nominal codes, could it be to the basically correct total showing the bank? Yes, you can. I'll pop over to my software. So what you can do is, let's just go into to be matched. Let's try and pick a transaction that's a decent amount. Let's just say 700. So I haven't got that many here at the moment, but let's just say we've got this money in. Then what you can do, so if I had, let's just put this one in here as well. So you can see I haven't matched the total amount, so it's only been part matched at the moment. So I've matched two of Sage transactions to one bank transaction. But what that can do then is then also click create. And then you can also create a transaction for the remaining amount. So then you would potentially just pick a customer receipt, select an account, whatever that might be, and then post it for the remaining. So we'll just leave the date as it is and the amount. Just leave it as a payment on account. And then when we go into confirmed, we've then got one bank transaction that is linked to 3 Sage transactions. There's a question there from Kelly. Can you edit during the download process, or do you have to edit the record after? So when you download it from your bank, there wouldn't really be a reason why you would need to amend the document in terms of you can amend, if you need to amend the column headers, then you would do that before. But in terms of values and things, you wouldn't really need to edit those. If you are going to edit the column headers, then you would do that before you do the import. Okay, so let's pop back to my slides. Okay, so the questions seem to have dried up a little bit. So just while Michael picks up that last question, I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this session up. I want to say thank you to Michael, who's been on hand today to answer your questions, but also thank you to you all for your participation today. Just a reminder, we've got plenty of sessions over the next couple of weeks, so don't be shy and get registered. So I want to say another thank you and take care.